You are listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast, a podcast by diehard fans for fans. Mark covers all things Penn State football and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as well as anything related to the sports and fitness world. Tune in weekly to listen to a couple of dedicated fans talk about these topics without filters. Thank you for listening to the Mark Lesko Podcast.
What's up, Steeler Nation? Welcome to the Mark Lesko Podcast. I'm your host, J-Rod, and this is Steelers Central. Well, here we are, week 4, guys. Got a pretty good sample size of everything, like I said yesterday, about kind of an overview of seeing the Patriots plays and all that, seeing how they handled Derek, yes, I want to say Drake May. What he was saying, Derek. I'm so sorry. Drake May and company, seeing how they handled them with all their turnovers, what they gave us. I mean, it's pretty obvious that the Steelers, took advantage of their gifts they were given, and they made it happen too. So, I mean, it was a tough game, but a lot of things were still a problem. So, looking at this week 4 preview for our kickoff, the Steelers taking on the Vikings in Ireland. They are considered the home team, so that makes a huge difference. Now, what is this game going to be? That really is going to be a telling of a lot of things for the Steelers. I mean, we've seen enough where we've seen good things, we've seen bad things, we've seen everything in between. Now, can we actually see a complete version, or can we see the real Steelers in this game? Because I think I've seen them once. I don't think I saw them in the one other game, and this one didn't really answer that either. So it's you've had enough of these easy games. Now, I'm not saying that the Seahawks are not a good team, because looking back at what I saw from them, I think I saw that they have scored, I want to say 65, 70 points so far this season, but they've only given up 46 in 3 games. So they are a very good defense. So I got to say that the team is legit. Now, the Patriots, that's another question. Again, all the miscues and all of the things that happened in their game, does that really, I put them in the identity of that's who they are? I don't think so. I mean, every game can be seen as a misstep. As example, the Packers losing to the Browns. I just think the Browns had a really great defensive scheme plan ready for them, and that's what I think happened there too. I don't know if the Packers are going to look like that, next week or the rest of the season. So every week brings new challenges. And with this game in particular, Kevin O'Connell and company, they're a very I think they're a defensive-driven team. They put on a show last week, with the Bengals. And again, doing that against a team that has the backup quarterback in it, and knowing that the defense or the Bengals defense is what it looks like, I just don't see how that's going to play a factor into how we're going to play them, because I don't think that we have as many issues on our team as the Bengals do. So I'm not saying that the win with Minnesota against the Bengals was a fluke, because I do believe that their defense is that strong. I just think that we have enough playmakers on offense, and I think that we definitely have a lot of things coming back for this game to say we are going to be buttoned up a lot better. I think we're going to look a lot cleaner. I do believe this. I think injuries do play a big part, especially when you rely heavily on the first stringers like they do, which again, that's all on coaching. I'm not saying that their backups, don't deserve to play in the NFL, but they certainly don't put their whole system in a position to be good. So it's either we have our best players out there or we're not winning, or we're going to look bad. And that was the case with the Seahawks game. We didn't have Derek Harmon out there. Deshaun Elliott got hurt in the first week against the Jets, so he wasn't out there. So there was a lot of miscues and a lot of miscommunication on defense that just really let, the run game be as good as it was for the Seahawks, and Sam Darnold looked as good as he did. They had a lot of holes that they could expose. And I'm not saying that, just one or two players magically makes it all better, but it's going to make it a little better. Like, it's going to improve things for sure. So if players like Joey Porter Jr. and Deshaun Elliott are back for this game, I mean, that would be great to see that. But if they don't have them in this game, I'm not going to get totally concerned on a guy like Carson Wentz, because yes, they did have some good things happen for them against the Bengals, but that was primarily a defensive display. Like, they just took advantage of, the defense just saw what they saw and they just completely carved them all up. And again, I'm going to say that Aaron Rodgers is slightly better than Jake Browning. Nothing against, Jake Browning as a player, but I'd like to think that Aaron Rodgers, with all those years of experience, is going to have just a little more of an advantage over a player or a team like the Minnesota Vikings and their defense. So, but again, Kevin O'Connell's a good coach. This is what it's going to come down to, folks. If we lose this game, it's going to be completely on the coaching. I'm sorry to say it like that, in the sense like the players are the responsible ones to execute and everything. But if we lose this game because we got out-coached, I mean, it's a very possible, but again, you just don't know what version you're going to get of Mike Tomlin's Steelers. Like, I keep saying it like that because that's what it is. It's not the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore. It's Mike Tomlin's Steelers, and how they want to show up and how they are going to look and how he wants to plan for them. And it's just like, we know how he plans, and it's always in this kind of structured, arrogant way that it's just, you can't really get on board as a fan, where it's like, God, just go out there and beat them. Like, just show them like grit and grind. Just show them all the stuff that we knew the Steelers to be. Like, that's what our identity has always been. And it has not been the case for quite some time. It just seems like it's very conservative. It's very risk-free. Like, they're very timid. And I'm sorry, I just don't understand how, when you look back on the Big Ben years and you saw what they looked like without him, how in the world you can say that Mike Tomlin had a say in how Big Ben handled himself? I just, there's no way I would agree with that. I could not. Big Ben was his own creature. He just knew how to read the field as good as any good quarterback. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, soon to be first ballot. So you have to put him in that category. He did all those things that he did with the coordinating staff, with the players he had. He just knew how to make it work when everything was going against it. And I just feel like when you look back on the Super Bowl they won against the Cardinals, I'm not saying that Mike didn't have a say in that drive, but I see a lot of kind of going with the motion or making it up on the fly kind of setup where everything really had to be earned in order for it to happen. And I don't know if that was, again, the offensive coordinating and the play calling schemes, like the talent they had at the time. I just knew that what I saw was a lot of like in the moment things happening, and that's what Big Ben provided. And he kind of had always been like that thing that you relied on to make Tomlin look good and have his career be as successful as it has been, for a better part of his coaching years. I mean, you're looking at what, 2006 to 2021. I mean, you had 15 straight years where you either were in the conversation or you were always winning. And Ben had to have been a part of a good majority of that. I'd like to think that Ben is about 65 to 70% of Tomlin's success as a coach. In the sense, like when people say, why is Mike Tomlin always winning? Why does he always have a winning record? It's simply because Ben was always there to provide that defense, and Dick LeBeau and company, he was there for a good majority of Tomlin's career as well. He always took care of that side of the ball. That was his defense. He knew that. Tomlin knew that he had no voice yet, where it's like, I'm a head coach, I have to be in the league. And Dick LeBeau was a 65, 70-year-old guy that was like, this is mine. Like, you take care of your thing, I'll take care of my thing. And that was the whole thing. The whole thing was blueprinted out. And then when, guys like him left and then Ben retired, now what do we have? We have Terrell Austin, who really does not provide a whole lot of confidence in me as a fan. And anyone who is a fan of this team kind of just, I'm not saying that we were spoiled, but we have seen what that kind of scheming and play calling looked like. And every time you just see how it went down, you just be sitting there going, it's not Dick's defense. It's not the Steeler way. Like you're just sitting there just shaking your head, just being like, man, this is sad. How does this guy have his job? Because again, Mike Tomlin knows that he now has a person he has complete control of. And we say all the time, it's Mike Tomlin's defense now. Like he is the one who is running things and Austin just has the title. So, and with those problems on the coaching where it's like, I look at a game like this where if it works, that's great. But where this is really a built excuse as to why the team just cannot look as good as they once did. I don't know, guys. It just seems like they have got so many problems ahead of them, and they're always going to be a problem because that's the thing. They're always shooting themselves in the foot. It's always the team that beats them. This team is themselves because they're always getting in their way. They're always constantly having a problem, not being able to extend like any kind of like big moments. Like they don't show up when it matters in that sense. Like when you have to do something big, you have to do something that really you like, it just never happens. It doesn't execute and it just doesn't work. So again, I can understand to an extent why analysts, and I listen to a lot of like experts say like, you just look at the Steelers and that they're kind of either in the middle or they're below where we want everyone else that we talk about. So, I mean, I'll be bringing that up in my next topic. But, yeah, for this game, I know that the Vikings have some good players. I know they have a great coach. Their defense is going to be ran by Mr. Brian Flores, and he is going to prove why you shouldn't have gotten rid of me, and he should be the real defensive coordinator because, again, he's the kind of guy that will bark back and say it's my defense, and Mike Tomlin doesn't want a guy like that. He wants a guy that's going to let him do what he wants to do. And I commend Brian Flores to going into that situation in Minnesota and making it look as good as they possibly can. And right now they're 2-1 just like us, and they have a chance to make some noise, especially when they get their players back. I know they've got a couple of guys on either injury or suspension, and once they all come back, I mean, the Vikings could very well – be in this conversation. And I don't know what the severity of JJ McCarthy is, but he doesn't look there yet. He doesn't look like he's there yet with all the play calling, but hey, if guys like Mason, their running back, can still make plays, again, I don't know what to expect from this guy, but I know that's one of our weaknesses. And it's like whoever can run the ball can expose us easily. And again, that wasn't the case with this game. And I would like to think that Mason is on the same level as Stevenson in terms of talent. Maybe he's a little better. I'm not really sure. I don't know a whole lot of the running back Mason for the Vikings. So I do know that Justin Jefferson is one of the greatest wide receivers of his draft class, of his career. Like all the guys that you see like in the landscape of wide receivers, Justin Jefferson's like a pretty darn good guy. And I totally expect him to do what he does. Again, Carson Wentz, he has thrown in his past, so he can do things, they can connect. And so I'll do this. I'll start with the things I'm looking to see in this game, and then I'll go into the prediction for the game. So the things I want to see from this game, the number one thing I want to see from this game is I want to see explosive play calling. I want to see big plays downfield. I want the middle of the field exposed again. I want you to use, Ben Skoranek or Calvin Austin way more. I know that DK is a great player and he knows what he's doing. And I don't know. I mean, defensively, I don't know names on the Vikings like off the top of my head. I did rattle some off the other day, but you gotta get open. You gotta make the plays happen and big plays. I just want to see like completely the opposite of what I saw from Aaron and company, 139 yards, for goodness sake. That's pathetic. That's that's about as bad as it's going to get, hopefully. And yeah, they just need to start looking a lot more explosive. So number 2, I don't want to see anything beyond 300 yards again. But again, this is a good team and they have a lot of good schemes. I like the coaching. I just don't know how it's going to be held back, but I want to see it. I want to see this defense hold this offense to less than 300 yards. If I see 298, that's what I mean. That I got to be happy about that. So as long as I see that, that would be a very big improvement for the Steelers. Number 3, I guess when you're talking about improvement, I want the run game to start getting developed. I mean, I want to see if you can get the offensive line to start creating holes, making things happen for that run game. Again, once you start doing that, you can open up the field. And I know that's really the biggest thing. Like, we have constantly looked back on what's not been fixed. And again, that is all on the organization itself. It was blatantly obvious that you needed to improve the offensive line, and you didn't do it in the offseason. I don't know why that was the case, but this is what you have to work with. So those 5 guys between, I want to say, I think it's McCormick that's on the line too, and then Salomalo, Frazier, and of course Jones and Fautano. Those 5 guys, just figure it out and be the best versions of yourselves. So you do that, you're going to win this game. And I think that's about the extent of where I'm going to go with that. So predicting this game quarter by quarter, I think in the first quarter, I'm going to be seeing a tie of 7-7. I think they're going to score a touchdown. We're going to score a touchdown. And then I think they're going to score a touchdown again. And then I think we're going to get a field goal. And do I want to say they get another one before the half? I mean, I'd like to think that they can achieve that. So by the half, I'm going to say that it's going to be Minnesota up by 1, 14-13. And then by the third quarter, I will say that they will kick a field goal, the Vikings, so that'll make it 17-13. And I think we're going to have it kick another field goal, 17-16. We're going to go into the fourth quarter, and I think we are going to score a touchdown. And that will put us at 23-17. And I think that we're going to have a big stop on defense. I think we're going to have a big moment, like an interception. And then we're going to kick the field goal again. And I think that's how it's going to be. I think it's going to be 26-17 Pittsburgh. I'm not saying that we can't make big explosive plays happen, but I do know that this defense is going to have a lot of stoppage, and they're going to make us kick a lot of field goals. So, I mean, like I said, what would that make it? Yeah, I'm going to say we have 4 field goals and 2 touchdowns from this game, and they're going to stop a lot of things. So, but I still think we come out on this 26-17, and we're going to win this, and we're going to go 3-1. And with that being said, after all that, let's move on to the halftime show, which is the AFC playoff outlook. Knowing that it's 3 games into the season, I think you get enough of a sample size to see where everybody's at right now. And if you look at this, I think I have it up here. Now, they don't show the playoffs because, again, it's too early. But when you see like where the records are in terms of the AFC, you have the Buffalo Bills 3-0, and you have the Bengals and us at 2-1, and you have the Indianapolis Colts 3-0 with Jacksonville Jaguars 2-1, and the Chargers are 3-0. So if you look at the landscape of the AFC North right now, you know the Bills are a playoff team. And from last night's game, oh my goodness, I got to mention Monday night's game. Oh my goodness. That game against the Lions and the Ravens, whoo-wee, that's real football, folks. That is exactly what you want to see from your teams. And the Lions are absolutely ferocious. Like, I don't really care what they didn't show up in week 1. Ever since, they have completely buttoned up, and they have really done some pretty impressive cleaning up of their problems. And again, that is on the coaching. I like what I saw from Dan Campbell and company, how they adjusted, how they've really gotten their team where they need to be that quickly. I mean, they just have shown that they have when it comes to great coaching and how you adjust on a weekly basis or within game. That right there is what it's all about, folks. So I'm very much impressed with the Lions. And yeah, the Ravens got exposed in that sense. Like, they keep giving up big plays. They keep giving up a lot of points. Their defense is subpar, to be honest. I mean, they're right there in the middle. Like, I know they rank in one of the worst because, again, I know they played the Bills and the Lions, and those are two of the toughest teams on their schedule. I get that. But they kept putting up big points, and they just couldn't have an answer for Josh Allen or Jared Goff. They didn't have any answer for any of those running backs. Oh, my goodness. Montgomery and Gibbs are still a 1-2 punch. Like, they call them Sonic and Knuckles. Like, that's exactly what it is. Like, you just can't stop it. They're just all over the place, guys. I am terrified when we play the Lions. I am terrified. They're going to probably put up 400 yards rushing against us. If they had that kind of game against the Ravens in Baltimore, I mean, are we at the Lions? If we're at the Lions, I'm just going to start crying now. Yeah, we're at the Lions. God almighty. That's our crowd Christmas time. That's not going to be a good gift to have under the Christmas tree. Well, that's how you got to go, guys. You got to figure it out. And again, I would like to think that, again, we know how to play Lamar and company. That's the one thing I will give Mike Tomlin complete credit for. He knows how to play Lamar Jackson. He knows how to play John Harbaugh. And that's why we have the record we have against them. Nothing against Ravens or their fan base, but it's like we know how to play them pretty darn well. So, and then you have a guy like Aaron Rodgers who knows how to play the game too. So I don't have any issues with the Ravens. I think that we could easily go into either their place or, they come here and it's like we're going to have a traditional grit and grind kind of game. And I think we can win those games. But like getting back to the standings here, like when you look at everybody with the Buffalo Bills, like you see that they have scored 102 points and they've given up 71. I mean, yeah, that right there shows that they know how to beat you no matter how, so you got to play them the entire game. So in the end, I think that the Buffalo Bills would be a team that we could not beat if we had to. And I know we play them. I know. So we're going to find out. And then you look at a team like, the Bengals, again, defensively, I think that we're going to expose them and we're going to, figure things out against a team like that. But the Browns, that's an interesting situation. They've given up the least amount of points. If you see that, 68 points, they're going to be interesting to play. So could we beat them? Yes. In the AFC North, we're going to be having to go back and forth with our defenses, but having a guy like Aaron Rodgers and the weapons they have, I think we can penetrate the Bengals, penetrate the Ravens. I don't know about the Browns, but ultimately we have enough weapons in our offense to take care of the AFC North. So I think that that's a pretty good assessment of that. And then when you look at Indianapolis Colts or the Jaguars, I'd like to think, again, we're going to play the Colts, and they're going to be here this time. I think we played them 2 straight times at Indianapolis, and I think that we do have that game in Pittsburgh, and we do. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle Indianapolis this time. But Daniel Jones and company, the whole Jonathan Taylor, he's one of the better running backs in the league. So, again, if you don't have it figured out with that defensive line by then, which again, it looked much better with Derek Harmon in it. So if we stay healthy, I think we have a chance to take care of business. And then you have the Chargers, which I know we play in Los Angeles. They're a very interesting team. Like, they don't give up a whole lot of points, but they don't score a whole lot of points either. They have the same amount scored as the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it's going to be a interesting test. I know that. So yeah, if I look at like I think I see that, we do play the NFC North. And right now, if you look at the NFC North picture just a sec, everyone's a 2-1 team, or, the Bears just totally destroyed the Cowboys. but they give up a lot. So, I mean, their defense, I think we have a chance of doing something against them, but we're going to be in Chicago. So it's a test. So as far as where we stand with the AFC opponents between the Bills, the Ravens, and the Bengals, the Colts, the Jaguars, the Chargers, like those are all teams. And again, Kansas City, if they bounce back and beat the Ravens in their game this weekend, we'll find out if Chiefs are legitimate contenders still. I mean, they don't give up a lot of points, but they have done nothing to score. Like they have been pretty abysmal with their offense. So it's an interesting question. But yeah, I think that we are easily one of the better teams in the AFC for sure. Like there's a lot of things that we have to look forward to. I mean, again, with this game, we're going to find out for sure. If we win this game, I think we're going to definitely have a chance to do something against the AFC and have a shot at the playoffs. I mean, with everything they have with names, they are one of the more prolific teams, regardless of what they expect from the coaching. Like that's the thing that's going to kill them. If it's going to come down to what ruins the Steelers season, it's always going to go on coaching, and maybe something will be done about that after the season if it all goes south. And I don't see that personally, as long as, again, we don't have any injuries to the key players anymore. Like we just don't ruin anything like that. I think this is going to be a great season. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the results from this game. Again, those things happen that I pointed out. If they can get better at those things, like, again, I'm not asking for elite. I'm just saying be better and do those things. Then we should have a chance to do something this season, guys. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I know that I look forward to doing this all the time, and I can't wait for this weekend's game. We'll be up bright and early at 9:30 in the morning to see them playing over in Ireland. The first game in Ireland, and we're a part of it. That's a cool thing to know that we're one of the first teams to play in Ireland. It's going to be great, guys. The atmosphere will be pretty cool. I can't wait to see it. I will be doing a pre-show kind of to just get a sense of where we are, who's active, and what, it's going to look like in terms of, what the overall picture will look like. So, I mean, I'll be up bright and early before the game, so you guys will see it. So until that time, you guys, you have yourselves a good one, and here we go, Steelers.